Welcome back to the FloTrack podcast, everyone. This is NCAA Women's Championship Snap Reaction Edition. I am Kevin Sully, joined by Gordon Mack. Special shout out to the people watching live on YouTube. Remember, you can subscribe to the FloTrack podcast YouTube page, or you can listen to the audio format wherever you're getting your podcasts these days. Gordon, it's a wrap. We're done with NCAAs.
Yeah, it seems like yesterday we were getting ready for cross country season, and now indoors is over, and now outdoors is over, and it went by really quick. These 4 days go by really quick, even though it's a long time to have 4 different days of competition to get through. It felt
Yeah.
like a one day. It just felt like a weekend. It didn't feel that long, um, and the women, they did a great job at ending the meet with some fireworks. The Florida women win the team title. Once again, kind of similar to the men. Texas men were favorite. Florida wasn't. Florida found a way to have great runners in every event, take the victory. And then an even more impressive win was this Florida women's team because that Texas women's team
Mhm.
was good. And the Texas women scored a lot of points, but Florida was just even better. They were at a different level. Nothing
Yeah.
went wrong. They just knew how to put every single event together. They didn't really lose out on any points. They might have had a couple fifth to sixth, but the people who needed to win won, and that's what mattered most. So big ups to the Florida Gator women and the men, for that matter, pulling off the sweep, the team sweep. I think it's probably the first
Mhm.
time in Coach Holloway's career that the men and women have won the same year. I'm making that stat
They
up, but
seem
I
to
believe it's probably the first time.
they were getting points from everywhere. There was
Yeah.
just a point in the meet, it was like, "All right, what do they got going on in the field? Oh, points. Oh, what do they got going on in the quarter? Oh, they're gonna win that. Oh, they got some 800-meter points. Oh, Anna Hall's
Points,
running every
points,
single event."
points.
It was just everywhere. And, you're right, Texas was really, really good. Florida was just better. All right, let's start, though, with this single race that you and I were most excited about seeing. I think most people, this was the race that they had tabbed for basically since indoors. Right? We wanted to see the women's 200. We wanted to see Favor Ophelia versus Abby Steiner. Favor Ophelia had the collegiate record. Favor Ophelia had the SEC victory. And this lived up to it. This was sensational because up until this point in the meet, the weather wasn't great out there. None of the times were particularly like, whoa. And NCAA always gives you a couple of moments where you're like, wait, what? A collegiate ran that fast? And Steiner delivered in this race 21:80, smashes the collegiate record that was held by Ophelia, as I mentioned, fastest time in the world this year. And a little bit similar, I thought, Gordon, to the Joseph Fonville situation the year before or the day before, where you saw hints of it in the 100 because she came on really strong in the back half of the 100. And that made me think, all right, she's rolling. And her bend was really good. And then at that point, it was it was over for her. And Ophelia, I mean, still ran a really good time. Not a PR for her, but still a really solid time. You're just going against the fastest 200-meter runner in collegiate history in Steiner.
Yeah, and she was at that time the fastest because she was the collegiate record holder
Yeah,
herself.
that's true.
But we knew, or at least the world knew, that this was going to be the marquee matchup. You have kind of round one going down, or round one early and during indoors. Steiner took indoors, then SEC
Mhm.
outdoors. Ophelia kind of got her like comeback right there by winning 4x1, 1 and 2, and having a collegiate record. But then
Yeah,
when it
yeah.
came down to the NCAA 200, man, Steiner not only came up to that challenge and surpassed the challenge of one just beating Ophelia, but
Mhm.
running 21.8,
Mhm.
number one in the world right now. That would have been top, I believe, 5 last year. And last year was a crazy year for the
Yeah,
women's 200.
yeah.
And I obviously, I've been a big Abby Steiner stan. I believe that she was going to be one of our next great women's sprinters, especially in the 200. Injuries and COVID kind of put a little halt on that, but I think we're now seeing it. I mean, you now can't deny 21.8, winning the collegiate record, beating a really good Ophelia in not great conditions. The
Mhm.
women's 200 has a new invite to the party. Obviously, you have the Jamaican trio. You have Gabby
Mhm.
Thomas. You have a few others, Dean Asher Smith, Shawnee Miller when she wants to. But I think they need to now open arms and welcome Abby Steiner to the club because Abby Steiner ran like a world finalist. She ran
Mhm.
like a potential world medalist. She
Yeah.
this was her coming out party, and she's now like, in my opinion, not just a top NCAA athlete, but you know, she's going to be winning diamond leagues very, very soon.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, let's pump the brakes on that. But
Oh well,
I
no, we're
think
not pumping the brakes. No, no, come on,
I mean,
21-8. That's diamond
anything.
league level.
Yes, 100%. But you go back and look at collegians in the past. Sometimes
Fair,
it pans out that summer, sometimes it doesn't.
true.
Right? I can give you just as many examples of people who don't even make the team as I can people who win on to worlds. But I do think everything is on the table. Like, I don't think anybody can watch that and say, "Well, there's no way she's going to get a medal." But I also think we've seen this so many times before. This is such a grueling season for these collegiate athletes. They run a lot. What did she split in that 4x4? Something nuts.
48
Sub
seconds.
49. Yeah. She's running a lot. She's racing a lot. You know, if she can continue it, I think obviously she's a favorite to make the team. But if she goes out there and doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised by that either. I don't think that takes anything away from the season. I think that's just the nature of a collegian running a longer calendar than the pros are. But long term, yeah, 100, like absolutely, it bodes well for her. I just want to know who are the people that you're addressing that didn't know Abby Steiner was good before today. Like where do those people live? Do they watch track? They obviously don't subscribe to this channel because you've been talking about her for like 3 years. I think everybody was aware that she was good and capable of
No,
this.
I think
She broke the
people.
collegiate
No, they were
she broke
aware
the
that
collegiate
she was
record
good.
indoors.
They were aware that she was good. They weren't aware that
Mhm.
she was great. And 21-8 is great. That's not good. That's not 21 high nines. That's not 22 flats. 21-8 is a
Okay.
new
Sure. Sure.
category that only the best in the world go to, not the best in a country or in a college division. So that's what I think. I think we were waiting for the big like drop because this wasn't a win in 21.99 similar to other typical low 22-second 200s. This was a
Yeah. All
breakaway
right.
from into a different tier, in my opinion. I could ask you this question. You've obviously have heard me talk about my thoughts on
A
Abby
little bit.
Steiner's ability to be a great sprinter for 3 years.
Yeah.
Does this performance kind of give you a little bit? All right, Gordon. I guess you kind of were right. You kind of saw it
That
before anyone else. Come on, I gotta get a
I
little bit of
s I
credit.
see
No,
I see every track performance through the prism of how does this make Gordon look? Does this make Gordon look good or bad? So I like that
okay.
you're putting it in this. No, I mean you pick someone every year and they do well. Of- You're like, yes, victory. I take your point. 2180 is different than a 22 flat. I just thought this result was we said the collegiate record is going to go down at NCAA's. We thought that there's no
Yeah,
way. And at the beginning part of the meet, when I saw like the 100, 1 and 11, I thought, "Huh, maybe it's not that fast of a day. Maybe we're actually not going to see that." But she is so good, and Ophelia, was good too, good enough to push her. They're so good that it didn't matter. Now I know they got a pretty solid tailwind behind them. They were able to run that fast regardless. So no, it lines up with everything I thought about her. I'm more impressed with her than you picking her. I got to be honest. If I was allocating and I had to dole out who I'm impressed by of Abby Steiner's performance, if it was a pie chart, 100% would be Abby Steiner and 0% would be Gordon Mack. That's how
I
I
will
look at it.
petition that I should get a little bit of percentage of impressment because I picked her 3 years ago. That's a long game. That's a long play.
Why,
3 years. I
you
didn't pick
picked
her
her three
last week.
years ago. No, 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 no. You picked her 3 years ago to win 3 years ago. You didn't pick her 3 years ago to win in 2022. You had her on the team last year, right? I mean, she got hurt. All right.
Yeah, she got hurt. She got
I will
hurt.
say this. I will say this though. Ophelia, 3 years younger than Steiner. She's going to be a superstar too. I
Oh,
think she's going to be
100%.
great in
Yeah.
this event. So, all right.
Showing
Next person I want to
consistency,
talk about.
being able to run low 22s consistently now, that's a mark of like you're not a flash in the pan. You can get through
Mhm.
rounds at an elite level.
Yeah, I'm going to say right now, 2028. gold medalist in the 200, Favor Ophelia, and then I want you to give me credit for that because that's actually a prediction I'm making in the future. Will
Okay.
you do that for
Fair
me?
enough. I
We'll be doing the
will.
pot
I will gladly
6
give you the
years from
credit.
now. Thank you.
Gladly.
All right, appreciate that. Anna Hall, man, Anna Hall. I don't even know how to quantify what she did. It is remarkable. You don't see someone do a multi-event, another event double. That's not supposed to happen because part of the multis that's important for people to realize is the word multi. Multiple events. She's already doing 7 things and then she jumps in and does another thing. So she gets second in the 400 hurdles to Britton Wilson, who's incredible, had an amazing season. No shame in finishing behind Britton Wilson. She has, you time this, a 21-minute and 49-second break between the 400-meter hurdle final and the 800 final, which was the last event in the heptathlon. She was so far ahead, she basically just needed to finish that heptathlon 800. Everybody looks tired at the end of a heptathlon, a decathlon. They all sit down on the ground and are just completely done. Anna Hall looked like a whole new level of fatigue at the end of that. And you can totally understand why, because you're not no one's really built to do an all-out 400-meter hurdle and then an 800 22 minutes apart. No one would even try to do this in a practice, I don't think. I'm just so impressed with her.
It's also interesting because, typically among track teams, you always have to debate what's the hardest event in track and field. And
Yeah.
typically the top two are the 400-meter hurdles and the 800. So she's decided to do the two hardest events in track and field within 20
Yeah.
minutes of each other.
Yeah. I don't want to get too far ahead because we'll have time to have the Bowerman conversations, but she has a unique candidacy. I will say that. Because you got people with collegiate records, you got people with amazing doubles, or even more than doubles because between indoor and outdoor. I'm thinking of her teammate, Jasmine Moore, right? Double double in the long and the triple jump. But are we going to see another Anna Hall once Anna Hall leaves?
No. Also, Anna Hall probably doesn't even do this if Grace Stark doesn't get hurt. Anna Hall had to do this. If Anna Hall doesn't do this, there's a chance Florida doesn't. I mean, I think they won
Mhm.
by maybe more than 8 points, so maybe it didn't matter. But they were relying on her to do something that's never been done before to keep them in the conversation for winning a team
Yeah.
title. And they
They
chose
won
to
by 10.
take advantage of 8 extra points that she was able to get behind Britton Wilson, who had a great 400-meter hurdle run.
Yeah. Yeah. And credit to Wilson for getting it done there. Goes sub 54. Dominated the race. Hall came on in the last 100. It was all about Wilson. And I think if Wilson decides to do the 400 hurdles and not the 400 at USA's, it's going to be fun to watch her in a race with really high level competition, aka Sadie McLaughlin,
Yeah,
aka the highest level of competition anybody in history has ever had to run against.
you gotta feel for Wilson. I mean, if you're her, she now running well in these 400 hurdles.
Well, she's going to make the
We all-
team if she runs
Would
it. Muhammad has the
if you're
bye.
her, but if you're her, do you enter the 400 hurdles or do you enter the open 400?
I entered. If it's me, I do the quarter, but I think she can make it in the 400 hurdles because past Sydney, there's still 2 more spots on there that non-Muhammad people can get, and I think she
Yeah,
would get that, right? Like, I don't see any other US person clearly at the level of Britton Wilson right now.
yeah,
Um, let's talk more barriers, though. Women's steeple. I mentioned the meet got off kinda slow just in terms of times and expectations, but not on the, distance side of things because Courtney Wayment just destroyed the collegiate record in the women's steeple, 9:16 flat. Now, a couple numbers to realize here. So she breaks it by over 8 seconds. She sets a 10-second PB and then wins the race by about 9 seconds over Kaylee DeLay, who herself put together a masterpiece. Kaylee DeLay goes 9:25. That's an all-time mark as well, too, in the women's steeple. Only uh uh Wayment and Frericks are faster for delay.
yeah,
So you're watching this race and Wayment breaks away, and then it's just like, there's a huge gap there, but then you're seeing delay move her way up, and you're trying to figure out, all right, you're not looking at the splits. How fast is she actually going? You're like, oh, they're both running really fast. Like everybody's running fast. Wayman is just on a completely different level from everybody else.
Yeah, impressed with the time. I was expecting her to run in the 920s, maybe like an a 926 to 23 range,
Yeah.
but to kind of be 10 seconds faster than that is incredible. And you juxtapose this with Courtney Frerichs actually ran a steeple yesterday at the Portland Track Festival.
Yeah.
Did you see
She
how
fell.
fast she ran?
Yeah. Well, she fell. She fell, and it was in
Okay.
pouring rain. So
Okay.
I'm not gonna
Okay.
put
I didn't know
Wayman
that.
ahead of her. Yeah, but I'm gonna put Wayman in the mix for the team again. I mean, a 916 stacks up real nicely for her. I thought last year she had a chance at the team, but then she didn't end up winning NCAA's, and then that seemed far fetched at that point. Clearly, she's on a different level from that. And if you're running in the mid 19s, you're doing really well. I also this is Kevin's stat of the day.
Ooh,
Six
stat of the day.
consecutive.
We need a song. Do, 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 do,
Yeah.
do, do. All right, stat of the day. Presented by nobody.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah. This makes six consecutive championships where BYU women have won a distance title in some way, shape, or form. So Weymouth Steeple, indoors, Weymouth 5K, cross country in 2021. Orton won it individually. 2021 outdoors, Anna Camp won the 1500. 2021, that spring cross country, they won it as a team. And then that indoor meet that year, Weymouth in the 3K, and then the DMR won. That's pretty impressive. I was trying to think of other distance programs that had that streak. I can't think of any.
This is
Especially when you go to cross country, there's only 2 titles that are right? There's not a bunch of events. It's either you either win
yeah.
it individually or you win the team. That's it. So that, in and of itself eliminates a lot of teams. And it's not just one person winning it all. Weymouth's obviously shouldered a lot of that, but you got Orton in there, you got Anna Camp in there, and you got also, the all those teammates on the DMR. So Weymouth, collegiate record, nice work. David says that's the first non-Mountain West champ since 2016. That's a good stat.
In the steeple,
Is that right?
I guess Ali Ostrander, Air Force runner. Yeah.
Oh,
New
yeah, Michaela
Mexico.
Norris won it. Yeah,
Yeah. Mahale Norris. Yeah.
that's a
That's
better
a
stat.
that's a
My stat
good
segment just got one upped by the chat there.
that's a
Yikes!
good that's a good stat.
All right, stay on the distance for a moment. Caitlin Tuohy, 15:18, 5K, go.
Yeah, I mean, this was not as dramatic as I thought it would be. I thought we would have a more of a closer, pen relays, 4 by mile esque type finish between Rowe, Chalenga, Gregory, and Tui, but it did not play out that way. Parker Valby, who, my goodness, like a lot of guts to like just not really be anywhere in the conversation and say, hey, I'm just going to put myself in it and see what happens. And sometimes you do that and it blows up in your face. But in this situation, she was able to take advantage of this and pull the lead pack down to about 4 or 5. She was able to hold on for a second, which is incredible. I think I had her ranked sixth, maybe fifth to seventh. So second is incredible for the freshman Falby. Remember when she went out hard in the cross country championships? But Tui, clearly there was no one who was going to challenge her. She made the move 600 meters out. I was kind of worried. I was like, uh-oh, Caitlin, like last time you made a move early, it didn't work out. But clearly there was no one who was even in her conversation when she made that move. So it ended up being actually the good decision because she opened up a 15-meter, 20-meter, 30-meter lead and then was able to cruise home sailing to win her first title, which is pretty cool for Caitlin Tui being the in the spotlight her entire time since she was like 14 years old, dealing with injuries, dealing with the COVID thing and all that stuff. And then finally, in what, year two? She's been there for 2 years now. Year two as a you're muted. Year two,
She's a sophomore.
sophomore, yeah.
She's a
In year
sophomore.
two,
That's what I
she
say.
wins a title.
I was muted. You're right.
How many times
Fact
can I say
check.
the phrase
True.
year two? Year two, year two.
Year
But
two. Year
that's
two.
year
Well,
two
I
is
mean,
when Grant Fisher won. So that's a little.
yeah, a little different because the COVID year, but uh, I called it. The 5Ks were going to be all about Penn Relays redemption. Olin Hacker fell in the 4 by mile, wins 5K title here. Caitlin Tuohy gets beat by Chrissy Gear, wins the title here. I really think that was a story, Gordon.
I
Everybody
mean,
had Penn Relays on their mind
I have Penn relays on my mind all the time. I was
all
thinking
the time.
about it all day today when I was paddleboarding 10 miles. I was just thinking about Penn relays.
Congrats, by the way, on that. All right, let's go to the quarter. Talitha Diggs, 49.99. Nice comeback here. Alexis Holmes was out and out pretty far there. Diggs reeled her in. Holmes eventually slid back into fourth, but this was all about Diggs, who goes sub 50, which this year, right, only three other women have run sub 50 this year. So that's a notable performance for Talitha Diggs. This is obviously huge in the team race because you had Texas women in this race as well. So for Diggs to go in there and get 10 points, was this the turning point? Like when you were doing your projections, did this swing it a little bit in Florida's direction?
This was one of many turning points. I'll talk
Mm,
about later in the pod the ultimate turning point. But this, I mean, I had Diggs getting second or third, so she was supposed to score high up. But anytime you go from 6 points to 10 points, 4 points is a lot, and it's hard. You can't just make up 4 points in many events. So she was always in contention to win it. I just thought Cherokee Young, being the only one who was kind of collegiate leader, I thought she would hold
mhm.
on. But Talitha Diggs, similar to how like Jean Burrell, you time your peak at the right moment in the final of your event. It's who cares
Yeah.
about SCC prelims and a
Right, right.
random 400 at Mount Sac relays. It's all about what you do in that last race. And Talitha Diggs saved the best for last.
Women's 100, Julian Alfred ran 11.014 to Kevin Nelson's 11.020. Steiner finished third. We mentioned that already with that hard close, but Alfred gets the win. 60, I think there's a little bit of redemption for indoors because 60 we thought she'd win indoors. And then it didn't come together for her and she got it done here, although very close at the line. I thought Nelson ran a really good race to be in the mix.
Yeah, that was close. This had a very similar vibe, in my opinion, to the men's 100, where you look at the PBs on this field from there's a lot of 10.8s and 10.9s. And then for no one to break 11 seconds, it was a little disappointing. Obviously, it's because of the weather and just the way it unfolded. But outside of not really having like a incredible 10.8 or win or a 10.9 win, just
Mhm.
the best runner won. I mean, Julian Alford has been the best 100-meter runner all year long. She was great in the 60, but that false start, it happens. She was able to, you know, end her season with a high note. And I look at Julian Alford as a legitimate, she's gonna I forget what country she's from. What country is Julian Alford
St.
from?
Lucia.
St. Lucia. I think she's gonna run well, and I think she's gonna be like a fringe wild card factor when it comes to World Championships in a month.
Mm. Are you gonna do a whole pod, Gordon's fringe wild cards?
Yeah, fringe wild cards. Yes,
All
I
right.
got like a 10-part hour series on fringe wild
So
cards.
if you didn't think wild cards were wild enough, Gordon introduces his fringe wild cards. High hurdles. Talk about somebody who could make the team. Aaliyah Armstrong. That was domination. 12:57.
Yeah, she's been running up well all season long. Good field. Jasmine Jones is pretty good. Um, the hurdles, we're kind of waiting to see. Obviously, we at the non-US level, Jasmine Camacho Quinn has been
Mhm.
like the kind of taking over from Kenny Harrison. But like at the US level, we're still waiting to see if there's a new dominant US. It might
Yeah.
still actually just be Kenny Harrison. But Lee Armstrong coming here in
Yeah.
college,
She makes the team.
she's gonna be someone to look
She make.
for in USA's.
Yeah. I think she could make up the team. Or I think she can make the team for sure. I mean, just that whole group. I talked about it last pod or two pods ago. It's a log jam in there. All right. Next up, 1500. Vissa of Ole Miss got the win. This race was interesting. Chrissy Gear pushed the pace. early on, which kept it somewhat honest, although there was still a bunch of people still involved. De Janeiro, who can close really well, made her move on the curve, like at the beginning of the curve. It was very interesting. Instead of waiting, 300 to go, you see people, really push on the backstretch or 100 to go. She really tried to go wide on the curve to get around Cintia Vissa of Ole Miss, and it looked like it was going to work. Vissa, though, to her credit, just didn't really budge, didn't really give up too much ground, and then the last 100 was able to hold on and hold her off. I thought it was interesting after the race. John Anderson um, asked Vissa, "Hey, did you watch Mario Garcia Romo's race the day before? Like, did you learn anything from that?" And she's like, "Yeah, about getting boxed in because it was much different. It was much different. Like now she didn't have she had the benefit of like gear kind of pushing the pace a little bit out there, but she seemed intent on I am not going to get boxed. I'm going to be the one who responds to the moves and I'm going to go." I just thought that was interesting learning something from the men's race that happened the day before and how he got stuck and really couldn't do anything with 80 meters to go. Yeah, thoughts on the 15 or do you want to talk about the 8? 8 was kind of
Talking about the
crazy.
8, similar to kind of like no one saw Joe Wascom winning the men's 15.
Yeah.
Christy Shawfield of Boise State winning this women's 800, which was kind of a little bit of a wide open 800. You could see it in her face and her genuine reaction. She did not believe it herself. And she had a great quote post race about like
Mhm.
something strategy. And I'm messing up the quote, but it was something along the lines of, "I'm just trying to beat the people in front of me," which is,
Yeah, yeah.
when you think about it, that's track and field. You just try to beat the people in front of you. And
Mhm.
she did that, and very impressed for her. She's a senior out of Boise State. Um, Leah Miller went for it, man. 57
Yeah.
opener. Whew.
Well,
She,
indoors, right? That's how she won it indoors
true.
a couple years ago. She went for it. It was exact same playbook, and I mean, maybe she goes out just a little easier. It might have worked because she held on till the straightaway, the final stretch, and then she ended up finishing back in 7th. But yeah, 57.9, I think is what or 57.6. That's quick. That's aggressive.
And once you do it, you can't like
No,
undo it.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you try to undo it, it makes it even worse. So she knew that there was going to be a potential moment at like the, s- you know, 710-meter mark when it's going to
Mhm.
start changing a bit. And that's what happened to her. And she fell back into 7th. But
Yeah,
kept it honest. And again, big ups to Schofield, Boise State for winning.
yeah. Um. All right. What else? Or sorry, 4x1 relays. Texas got the 4x1. That's when I thought, all right, they're in good shape.
Yeah.
Gordon thinks they're going to win by a bunch of points. They're in good shape. 4x4 at the end of the meet. Obviously, it was decided by then, and Kentucky got the win. Ran really quick. Did want to put this up here if we could. Gordon's ongoing. Well, it's like a one-sided feud with the Florida track managers has continued. They post on their Twitter account. Does Gordon Mack regret what he said in the last 10 seconds of this video? Hashtag reply. So we can't get audio from that, can we, Colt?
Can we get audio from it, Colt? So I can tell you what I
Can you
say. So this
hold
is
on?
a
I want
video for
Colt.
those.
Can Colt listen to it and then Colt can read it in like a Gordon voice? Is
Yeah.
there a way to do
Well,
that?
let me
I think
let
that
me explain
like
what
a
this video
dramatic
is
reading.
first of all. For the
Well, it
audio
says how
listeners,
Gator track and field. You're going to
this is
downplay
an
the
audio
women having the
podcast.
chance.
People can't read
I
it.
know.
Some people are
I'm
I need to explain the audio version
all right. Go explain it.
for
Explain it.
the ASMR fans out there.
Okay,
What I'm
don't do
saying
that
is,
ever again.
this was me recapping how the men won yesterday, and then I ended it with we're moving on to the women. Texas and Florida, they're the two teams, but I am extremely confident that Texas is going to win the women's team title. A little too
Yeah.
confident, and clearly it did not go down that way. So this is what I said. What did I say? Can you play the audio?
No, he can't play the audio. He's going to read it.
Oh, he's going to read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did I
We'll
say?
play it.
I said the
Can you
technical.
play it so you can hear it, Colt?
I'm
Colt,
gonna.
can you play it so just you can hear it
Okay,
and
it's
then
gonna
tell
take a
us what
second.
Gordon said?
Yeah,
Yeah.
one
All
second. Just
right.
play it. I'm
Well,
gonna
I'll read
wait.
the comments. While you do that, I'm gonna read the comments. Stay on Gordon's neck, someone said. I love this, another person said. And a third person said, I'm confident, is how he needed it to. I say one way rivalry because they remember everything you say. And then well, maybe it might be two people involved in this. Maybe you
I
are
mean, I
involved in
knew
this
that I
rivalry.
said this and I knew that I was wrong. But here's the thing.
You
If
pick
I
them
was right every
sometimes.
time, I would be a
Yeah.
billionaire. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. So it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay to be wrong. And I'm wrong.
I'm
But when I'm
struggling to
right, you're
find.
going to hear it.
I'm struggling to find exactly what is being pointed out. Unfortunately, I think they're saying Gordon knows what he said better than. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know what they're trying to
I basically say Texas is going to win, and they don't.
All
So,
right. I was giving
Florida
you a
track
chance, Cole, to do
managers.
like a dramatic reading to use your, flex some of those improv muscles there.
The
But
time
maybe
code
we should
is
have.
the time code is not helping. I don't know what the last 10 seconds of the video means. There's nothing. It's just you talking, just Kevin talking. So I'm not sure.
It's
Oh,
fine.
is it?
Yeah,
Oh, so they're coming at me?
I
You
don't
got to tag
know.
me in that then,
I don't
if
know
they're
what.
coming at me.
I don't know what specifically they're
All
coming
right.
at.
So they're opening this battle on another front. All right, track managers, what's up? All right. Anything else? You want to talk about the team race real quick?
Oh, big, obviously, Florida. We know what they did with Anna Halls, Talitha Diggs, um, Jasmine Moores in the long jump and triple jump. The big difference, there was two main things. It
Yeah.
really was two Texas women not performing to where they should have. And that was Tyra Gittens. She was supposed to be top 3 in the high jump. She doesn't even score the Texas
Hmm.
A&M transfer. So that was a big hurt. And then the other big hurt was they had a heptathlete, Texas did,
Hmm.
who fouled in the long jump. She probably would have finished second or third in the heptathlon, but
Ooh.
the foul in the long jump basically means no points. So that's missing of probably anywhere between 14 to 16 points. And that's a lot to
Yeah.
lose. And, Florida didn't lose anything. Like, that's part of the game. You have to try to meet your expectations. And Florida was able to meet every single expectation that was put upon them. Texas was only able to meet like 80% of the expectations.
Hmm. Okay. Well, we got another show coming up tomorrow.
Whew.
I'm sure we missed some stuff. We'll get to it or throw it in the comments for tomorrow. We'll talk about it. So tomorrow we're going live 5 p.m. Central, recapping what's that? New York Grand Prix? Is that what we're calling it? I think I just put
That's
Grand
what we're
Prix at the
calling
end of
it.
track. Every track meet, if I don't know the name of it, I just put Grand Prix at the end of it. So 5 p.m. Central tomorrow. We'll we'll go into the pro side of things. We've had college the last couple of days. We'll go back to the pros. So we're continuing our 6-day streak of podcasts. Gordon is playing with his phone. So
So, for
what are
those
you
who
doing?
listened to the pod yesterday, I told you I was going on a 10-mile paddock trip. And you think
Paddock.
Kevin thought I wasn't going to make it back alive? Here's me going down a waterfall. I'm going to just show the video
Why
and
don't you
falling
just
off
send
at
this
the
to
end.
Colt?
This is good.
Why don't you send this
There
to
I'm
Colt?
at going down the waterfall, and then I
Oh,
fall.
wow. Wait a
It's pretty
minute.
bad.
Wait. You paddleboarded or you kayaked?
Paddleboarded
Okay.
or do a replay.
Quintessential Austin activity.
There he
As
is, boom, and then
wow.
he's go. Oh,
Oh, down he goes. Down he goes. All right.
thanks for listening, everyone.
Well, yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to the site and subscribe to the YouTube page if you haven't yet. We'll be back tomorrow, Sunday, 5 p.m. Central Time, to recap the New York Grand Prix. Thanks to Colt for producing. Thanks to you, Gordon, for